Zane Show podcast, a daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures. I was just preparing for the show, and there's breaking news about Howard Stern. He's not dead or anything like that, but there is breaking news. Before I get to that, let me take care of the... Oops. Somebody just opened that door. Don't know who. Might have been a dog. This show originates, of course, in the Impact Power Sports studio. Impact Power Sports, online at impactpowersportsmi.com. They specialize in things like Yamaha golf carts. You can get a fantastic, high-quality Yamaha golf cart. Perhaps it's an ATV you're into. Side-by-side, motorcycle, e-bike, go-kart. Those are fun. All things you can get. Scooter at Impact Power Sports, online at impactpowersportsmi.com. Thank you so much. I am promoting my latest get-together first. This is from the radio voice Linda promotion plan, and that is get to it and let them know early before they get bored with your ass. Thank you. Thank you. I'm talking about the Eric Zane Show podcast, Pinball Retro Arcade Extravaganza number 2. If you like stand-up video games and pinball in an outstanding atmosphere, that's Pinball Land. And we are all getting together August 22nd in Rockford, Michigan. 7:30, we're going to meet at that fantastic establishment called the Corner Bar. They're not a sponsor, but it's a great place to hang out. We'll eat, we'll drink, we'll laugh. Some of you will meet each other for the first times, though you've heard each other talked about on the chat. And then we're going to stumble on over to Pinball Land, and the whole place is ours for the night, for as long as you want. It's not free. I want to make sure you know that. You actually got to pay for it. I wish I could make it free, but it's I think it's like $9 or $10 for an hour, and 2 hours like 15, 16, 7. I don't know. But it doesn't matter. You have so much fun at Pinball Land. It's absolutely outstanding. So come hang out with me and the usual suspects. A lot of the people that attend are like people in the chat here on Twitch. That's like the people that most often come to things like this. But I want to see some new faces because, some people are shy. I'm talking to you, silent person who listens quietly. Maybe you listen to the audio podcast later, or you listen on demand, or you watch on Twitch on demand. Those are the majority of my audience members. But, yeah. So wherever you are, come see me at Pinball Land. That is the 22nd of August. Molly says I'd go, but I don't have money for hotels. Well, that's a big trip for you. That is a big, big trip. I mean, you would be coming from far, far away. That is not an easy thing. But save your pennies, maybe the next one. Because in this one, you could, go to Pinball Land, and then you could join me at Berlin Raceway the next night. It'd be a whole easy weekend. Nick in Grand Rapids, Black Belt Nick, says, bless them, anxiety-free like you did for me. It's a very real thing with people. Millennials and younger, 99.5% of all millennials or younger are scared. All right? That's what they do. They hide, and they don't want to talk to anybody because they're afraid that the world will end if they talk to someone. And it's my job to let you know, quit being a bitch and get your ass out there. That is the quickest way to meeting new people and getting fresh poon for some of you. Rebecca has already offered up to Molly. Molly, you can stay at my house. You have to like dogs, though. Who doesn't like dogs? I don't like people that don't like dogs. If you're an audience member and you don't like dogs, Don't tell me that. I just got word. I was just paying attention to the news. I saw on some wacky site that it said Howard Stern canceled. And I go, okay, this isn't true. There's no way. But I guess it is. The Howard Stern show, from what I'm gathering from my sources, which is the same sources you have, is that the Howard Stern show is going away on SiriusXM. I'm going to go over some of the comments that I'm looking at because basically I'm just searching Howard Stern on X and then the comments that roll in and various people coming up with reasons why the Howard Stern show has been canceled. This is what I've known, my observations about Howard. First of all, I was never a big Howard fan, but occasionally I'd hear things that I thought were funny. But whatever. Wasn't the biggest fan of Howard. No real reason. Just it was my taste. And I was more of like when there was the war between Opie and Anthony and Howard. I was a big Opie and Anthony fan at the time. Now, in hindsight, more Anthony than Opie because Opie's horrible. But then as time passed, because of Carl, I would pay attention to Carl on who are these podcasts. And I was like, boy, Howard sucks now. That's the only time I would ever hear anything from Howard would be when Carl would review him on who are these podcasts. And I was like, this is shitty. I remember last year Howard interviewed Joe Biden, and it was really bad. Really, really bad. And I noticed he's always talking about therapy. And that's a little annoying at times. It just gets to be a little bit too much. You get sick and tired of people telling you hey, everybody's got to go to therapy. Everybody's got to do that. Everybody's get some therapy. Get some therapy. Okay, whatever. So I think that the way the world is now, less people pay attention to someone like Howard because there's just so much more out there. From what I'm understanding, and I don't think any of this is official, but it's based on diminishing. I said this to Pooh Bear. I go, Pooh Bear, the statement that I'm hearing is being thrown out about Howard is diminished cultural relevance. And before I could even say, so that means, she goes, well, that means he sucks. I go, I mean, that's the way. If someone said to me, "Easy," I'm not paying attention to you anymore. Why? Well, your diminished cultural relevance. I mean, nobody cares anymore. There was a time when people did care, but I think that ship has sailed. When you have the most popular people being listened to today are on podcast form and live stream form, I think that spells doom for you. People can get what they want by barely lifting a finger. You look at the top things that people consume these days, whether it be short TikTok videos to whatever they watch on YouTube or the shows, the podcasts that they listen to. It's all online formats. The industry radio, even one is, I guess, as current as satellite radio, is just gone away. Nobody gives a shit anymore. Ben Glaze says, and all of the things that I'm talking about are for free. Instead of having to subscribe to Sirius. There was a time when Sirius was extremely cool. You know, you got radio was getting beat up when Howard left. Howard went on Sirius, and the first thing he said was, finally, I don't have to worry about the FCC. That was a huge problem for Howard when he was getting sanctioned by the FCC. So all of a sudden he heads over to satellite and he can say whatever the fuck he wants. 20 plus years. I have nothing when you look at his body of work, I don't give a shit what he's done recently. You still can't say he's he's a fantastic pioneer. I don't care for him. Never really laughed at much of what he does, but who gives a shit? I am finding it interesting that a lot of what's going on here in the comments. For example, this person wrote, last year, Howard said he hated anyone who voted for Donald Trump and demanded they stop listening to his radio show. Today, it's been announced that SiriusXM has canceled the Howard Stern show after his ratings plummeted. Fuck around, find out, Howard. There are no ratings in Sirius. It's based on subscriptions. And I can't confirm that happened. Who knows why he was canceled? It's easy to just say that it's because he said Trump sucks. But we don't know that. Juanita wrote, this is Howard Stern, the most vile human being ever without his wig. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. He's the most vile human being ever. But I think that this picture is amazing. That's devastating. Fuck. He looks like shit there. I don't know. Maybe he's got the hair up in the hat. Who knows? I think he does have a wig, though. I've heard that, but who gives a shit? This guy says a new case of go woke, go broke. Howard Stern's going to be canceled at SiriusXM when his contract ends. In recent years, Stern said he hates Trump voters that he thinks were stupid and that he would deny unvaccinated people hospital care if it was up to him. Fuck around, find out. Yeah, I can't say for sure. Go woke, go broke of corporate media. Little cartoon with the Grim Reaper visiting Don Lemon and Chris Cuomo, Joy Reid, Stephen Colbert, Howard Stern, and The View. Well, what you forget about all these is that these are all network shows or cable shows, and in this case, satellite radio. And when it comes to like Stephen Colbert, his show sucked. The same person tweeted out, in case you didn't know, Dana Plato, 34, had $1,000 in her bank account when she took her own life a day after being humiliated on the Howard Stern show on Mother's Day in 1999. Howard Stern is a horrible person, and I, for one, am glad that his show is coming to an end. So that person is saying that Dana Plato killed herself because of Howard Stern. I don't know. Is that what she said? Did she sign a note saying that? And by the way, $1,000. Quit bragging. It says here in May
4 out of 5 Americans
2024, Howard interviewed Joe Biden. Rebecca loves Colbert. Yeah, I'm not a fan. This is Howard interviewing Joe Biden.
Not only were you a star football player, but you were a lifeguard. I mean, you really, and you.
He got a lot of heat because he basically just kissed his ass and talked him up, and it was bad. And Biden didn't know what planet he was on.
Were the only white guy who was lifeguarding in this black community, right?
Yeah,
I mean, you were the one guy.
I was.
Your family is pretty, again, this goes to my point about, the president is the father of our country. That's something we all say. And I think your family is so extraordinary because of the way they've conducted themselves and how they are with you, that I feel you have a lot to give to the presidency. These are my feelings. It's pretty amazing family. And I'm
proud of it.
I submit for your approval that when you have a loving family like that, you got a lot to give because you get so much from them. You're the kind of leader I love because we're lucky to have you in the Oval Office and serving as the father of the country. Because if you're a good father to your family, which you are, I know you'd be a good father to the country. And I want to thank you.
This almost seems like a bit, like he's going over the top and doesn't like him. That would actually make sense to Howard 20 years ago.
Providing a calming influence, an organized administration post-COVID.
Poor Biden. I feel bad for that.
That vaccine out, getting NATO, getting us to feel comfortable, standing up to Putin. I don't know what people are looking for in a president, or maybe it's that people don't feel like they're getting enough or something. I don't know what it is, but I'll give you your greatest hits. The lowest uninsured rate in history. 4 out of 5 Americans are covered for less than $10 a month. Knocking off a few ISIS leaders, cutting the emissions in half. I mean, you've always been an environmentalist.
Okay, I can't take anymore. I can't do it. All right, this is a clip that I probably would be a bad decision if I played it, but this person here's a rare clip of Howard Stern in blackface using the term smelly N-word in 1993. Howard did a bit, this is true, with that's Sherman Hemsley from the Jeffersons. I'll link it up in the show, the goddamn show notes, but I can't play this. So now everybody's going back to everything that they didn't like about Howard, and they're just throwing dirt on his fucking grave. Oh, shit. This one posts the gif of Ray Liotta from Goodfellas laughing. Howard said he didn't want MAGA people listening to his show. He doesn't have to worry about that now. He doesn't have a show. God. Not the Bee wrote, I can't believe Howard Stern's strategy of telling half the population they weren't welcome to listen to his show backfired. Barstool's on it. Colette writes, as far as I'm concerned, Howard Stern was nothing but a gross pig. I don't know how anyone can be sad that he got the boot. His show was gross. He dumped his wife for a model, got a girly makeover, and tried to go legit as a pusher of woke propaganda. Underneath, he was still the guy obsessed with farts and porn. Well, I mean, glass house there. Who isn't obsessed with farts and porn? Not Kenny Rogers says Howard Stern did not get fired because no one listened to his show anymore. Howard Stern got fired because Sirius was no longer able to use some of our tax dollars to pay his $125 million a year salary after advertisers left in droves because no one listened to his show anymore. Okay, well, these people are all experts. I mean, I guess I am claiming to be an expert too, but God, he is so tall. Jesus. At the end of the day, radio, terrestrial radio, SiriusXM are in a bad spot. It's very expensive to have some of these talents on, and it's take a massive pay cut or you got to go. I don't whatever, the guy made a goddamn killing, so much money, but people are pretty much dancing on the grave of Howard Stern. Jeremy says Howard is insufferable, referring to that clip. Yeah, that was very, very bad. Very, very bad. Tyler says he's 71. I'd say he had a good run. He had a great run. No one else will ever be successful in radio like that. You know, I mean, if you think about it, when Howard left, and then the culture started to switch, and it became harder and harder to have any type of radio that could be successful. Local shows are done. the dwindling number of syndicated shows that exist now, eventually they will drop off. You're starting to see it already, where top-notch shows are starting to be carved up a little bit. I saw it earlier this year with Preston and Steve. That's a Beasley Media property in Philadelphia. The number one show for decades. And they had a lady that was on the show with Preston and Steve, two dudes. They cut her loose. Andy Green in Detroit on the Dave and Chuck the Freak Show. Again, top rated. I think that one is a Beasley property too. Same thing. Wiped them out, or wiped Andy off of that show. So this is slowly going to work its way through radio. It continues to do that. And it all boils down to advertisers just spend their money on different things. You know, there's different opportunities. The power is in the buyers now. And radio is still very, very expensive. But there's a lot less people listening to it. And in Sirius's case, where they can put advertisers on, but also the number of subscriptions down. They're like, fuck it. I get a better listening experience while listening to a playlist that I curated myself of my favorite songs. Megan, of course, from Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid and DV. She says, we choose Mr. 10. Thank you. Radio is stupid expensive. I know Megan has people in radio that bang on her door and say, hey, you know, Irvine should be on the air with us. And then, you know, she sees how much it costs. And she's like, what the fuck? This is what I pay for EZ for 3 months. Nick, Black Belt Nick, says the Sirius crowd are going podcasts. Bob in Pennsylvania says, I used to listen to Preston and Steve. All right, so it looks like Howard is done. You know, truth be told, if Howard wanted to, he has all the money he could ever want. He could establish his own platform with paying customers, and it would generate money. And he could also, if he wanted to, create his own podcast network, minus the all of the shackles of radio. If you think about it, if Howard said, all right, I'm now a free agent, I could do whatever I want. Let's say Howard wanted to get his message out there. All he honestly had to do would be, if he really wanted to, is do a Patreon, and that's it. And he could make millions of dollars, without a doubt. He could do the Howard Stern podcast on Spotify if he wanted to, and make millions of dollars. He doesn't need radio. Anyone that has anything to say that's interesting doesn't need radio. You have a free platform, the internet. You can say whatever the hell you want. You don't have to pay for an electric bill. And you can do it wherever you want, whenever you want. Why not? Right now is the absolute perfect time for content, creativity, ability to, the sky is the limit. This is what I tell people when it comes to marketing on my show. I say the same thing. I go, we can do anything you want. You know, we've got all sorts of flexibility here. And it doesn't really cost you a dime to put content out. It costs you your time and your sweat equity. Bob says he's already got a full radio studio in his houses. Oh, my God. Honest God, if he wanted to, he could just do it himself. He doesn't even have to pay anybody. So anybody who thinks that Howard Stern is just going to ride off into the sunset is probably crazy. I mean, he's 71. He's not 91. David says radio was good before podcast took over. The choices for content is unlimited. I was just talking with Dr. Penny Avery at Aquinas College yesterday, meeting number 2 for the Eric Zane Show podcast school at Aquinas College. In case you don't know, I'll be teaching a class starting on August 18th. And we're talking about the curriculum, the things that I'll be discussing in the class. And one of the things that I will be focusing on, because it's also a radio class, I'll be focusing on the period of time in radio from 1996 to now where it's declined. Why it's declined, how it declined, the time frame of its declining, and the reasons why. Also, while that timeline is going and it arcs down, podcasts from where it started and it arcs up. I got my hands yesterday on the podcasting equipment for the Eric Zane taught class at Aquinas College. So this is fantastic. The stuff that they have for the class is top notch. And I went to the college and I actually got all of the podcast equipment and brought it home. It's in the basement of my house right now. It's different than what I have here to some degree, but I have to familiarize myself with it so that the students can, I mean, if they have a question, I can actually show them because it's different. So I got to familiarize myself with their setup. So I bring it all in and I put it on the table downstairs. And so I've got this podcast studio that I'm powering up, if you will. And it's like, Jesus, this stuff is fantastic. I'm so jealous. That's the way it was when I was in college. You know, I went to my college radio station, and the equipment was outstanding. And then I go work at a commercial radio station, and everything's shit. Well, why does the college have better equipment than the commercial radio station? And I guess nothing's changed because the equipment that they have to teach the podcasting class is better than what I have here. And there's a lot of it, too. So I was able to get the equipment yesterday and bring it in down here. I'm going to set it up. Rebecca says, will you please stream your class for the Patreon folks? I meant to say folks. I said the word folks and pronounced the L. I hate when our pal Greggy does that, so I want to make sure I corrected that. Megan says Jamingo would love that shit. He can't. Well, I'm not saying I can't. I haven't asked yet. It's a great idea. I think I will bring it up at some point. I don't know if that means every class, but maybe some of them. I could ask. And all of these students would have to sign off on it, I think. Chris in Buffalo says, that's how colleges are. When I did automotive college, we had the best of the best. When I went to the dealer, it was 1970s garbage tools. Of course. Makes sense. And then I was talking with Dr. Penny Avery, and she goes, okay, now look over the equipment. If there's anything we need, all right, if there's anything at all that we need, I want you to let me know, and I can get it. I've got a grant. Some nice lady passed away, and she gave us a grant. And I go, oh, okay. How much is the grant? She goes, $20,000. I go, $20,000? Oh, my God. So I'm sitting there, like, before she reveals that, I'm like, well, we might need a web camera and maybe 2 or 3 of those. So we're looking at, I don't know, $250. Is that too much to ask? Oh, yeah, I've got $20,000. Some lady who passed away said, yeah, here you go for the communications class, for Easy's podcast class. $20,000. My God. Outstanding. Okay, so I'll stay plugged into this Howard story. It wouldn't surprise me at all if Howard started doing some type of podcast. I think he has to wrap his brain around the idea of that, because he struck me as the type of guy who thought that podcasting was like beneath him. Maybe he thought that for a period of time, but as time has passed, I mean, podcasting is definitely where it's at. There was a time when you had to explain to people what a podcast was. And thank God for the people who kept doing podcasting, and thank God for the people who listened to them, so that it is the thing that people want to be involved in. People want to listen to it. And I do plan on doing this in the class. My experiment, raise your hand if you listen to the radio today. Now raise your hand if you watch TikTok videos, if you watched something on YouTube, if you listen to a podcast, if you listen to your own music on Spotify, stuff like that. And all the hands will go up. Amanda says, and your salary is what again? I don't believe I told you in the first place. I weighed into Carl today, and I said, hey, are you hearing these stories about Howard being canceled? Carl said, E-Rock sent me this yesterday. Nothing surprises me. It was an article about Howard Stern's stint at SiriusXM reportedly nearing an end. Kristen says, yeah, if it happens, they're just not renewing his contract because they're losing a fortune on a show that very few people listen to anymore. The stories saying he's being canceled are being disingenuous. Howard actually did a short surprise show today with Lars Ulrich to announce a new Metallica channel. He did not talk about any of these cancellation contract rumors. Amanda weighed in, by the way, on Patreon yesterday. Part of our subject matter was about how the White House is making it so that SNAP benefits, which that is for folks who don't have any money, they can get food paid for by the government. The White House is making it so that if that's the case, they cannot buy junk food, like sugary snacks and like pop, beverages, soda, things like that. Amanda writes, it is cheaper to buy the junk food. And by the way, my take on this was, let them. I don't care. I mean, you're not going to, it's not like these people are instantly, because the White House said, well, first reason why is we want them to be healthy. And the second reason why we don't want taxpayers paying for garbage food. I don't think they really want them to be healthy. I don't think they really care. Most of the people who get SNAP benefits are hillbillies or poor black people. So I don't believe that the White House gives a shit about their health. The truth is, it's that Oliver Anthony song influencing them. Tax dollars ought not pay for fudge rounds. If you're 5'3" and 300 pounds, taxes ought not pay for your bag of fudge rounds. Oliver Anthony influenced the White House. That's what happened. But Amanda's opinion is it's cheaper to buy the junk food so they can make their benefits last. To these people, it's not supplemental. It's the entire grocery budget for the month. I don't know that. I can't speak for all the people, nor can you. But I don't know about if that's true. It's cheaper to buy the junk food so they can make their benefits last. I don't think the White House is making it so that they can't buy like Jimmy Dean shit. Maybe they are. I don't know. I've never had SNAP benefits. I don't know how they work. Jeremy says, it is not cheaper to buy junk food. Geez, Louise, I made food for 7 people, a filling, healthy meal for $35, and 15 of that was for saffron. Amanda says, Jeremy, I can get a box of Hamburger Helper and hamburger for way less than that. I used to be on food stamps. All right, she's right. If you get a Hamburger Helper and some hamburger, you can stretch that out for like 3-4 meals. But I don't know if SNAP covers Hamburger Helper. I think that's a question we have to ask. Do SNAP benefits pay for Hamburger Helper? Yes, they do. And I don't think the White House has eliminated that. Hamburger Helper is considered a food item intended for home preparation and consumption, which aligns with the guidelines for SNAP-eligible purchases. This applies to various flavors and sizes of Hamburger Helper, including beef, pasta, and general SNAP benefits cover most food items you would typically buy at a grocery store, including staples like fruits, veggies, meat, poultry, fish, dairy, bread, and cereal. You can also use SNAP to purchase accessory foods like snacks, non-alcoholic beverages, spices, condiments, and baking mixes. So the White House, they're eliminating the sugar. And my argument is you do not want these fat slobs rampaging to the store. It's a matter of safety. Let these fat pigs get those SNAP benefits to cover sugary foods. Okay? It's as bad as a fat fuck who doesn't have access to Mountain Dew. That is as deadly at my neighborhood grocery store as the Walmart stabber. The last thing you want is a rampage from some fat chick or a dude in a muumuu because they cannot get their Mountain Dew for free. Even Madison, who joined me on the show yesterday, she said, who gives a shit? Those people's lives are terrible. Let them have their fucking... They get a treat. Big fucking deal. Why do we have to take such a hard stance on these poor fucks? And then you get everybody, the hardliners, my taxes. Fuck you. Those people put Trump in the White House for you. Leave them alone. They're going to be dead at 45, all right? And all that money that they invested in Social Security, you're going to spend. So it all works out. Shut the fuck up. My God. Donut Dan is here. By the way, this is Donut Dan's shirt, the infamous Dirty Donut shirt. Somebody was wearing this when they took a shit in the hallway at Martin High School this year. Dan, can people buy this shirt on your website? This is a great shirt. This is like my favorite shirt that I have, and it's the brightest of reds, too. Look at all the hard work Dan did. He got Consumers Credit Union. They paid him big cheddar for this thing. And there's a bunch of other sponsors on the back of it that paid Dan to be on the shirt. I didn't pay cash, but it was a trade deal. They gave me a spot on the banner where the podium is, where the winners are, and they gave me the T-shirt spot, and I got to mention my show on the PA announcements. So I traded PA announcements for the spot on the shirt, and then we did a cash transaction for my services to announce the race, and goddamn was that fun. I will always look back fondly in the moment that I told Dan that some animal took a big, healthy BM, a giant wrinkler, right on the floor of the main hallway by the trophy case in Martin High School, and some fucker stepped in it, and there was Adidas treads, shit Adidas treads through the goddamn hallway. It was fantastic. That story is never going to leave you. Dan writes, the only argument to that would be the 300-pound poor people may cost the taxpayers even more in taxpayer-funded health care. Whatever. Come on. We can't fix everything. It's not perfect. Nick the Black Belt says we have a huge obesity issue with kids and inner city people. I hope this is to help with that. It won't. It won't do anything. This is a minuscule lifting of a finger, and it's not even genuine, because the White House doing this is not doing it to keep people healthy. They don't care about those people, okay? They're doing it because of tax dollars going for something that they don't think they're just cutting a program, which is kind of what they do. There's a story that's going on now. What's his name? RFK Jr. has just cut a $500 million grant for mRNA research. That's what we have now in the White House. And we got to live with it. Now, I don't think we should cut mRNA research because I'm addicted to the COVID vaccine. I wish I could get it every day. And I love it. And thanks to the COVID vaccine, everybody knows that we defeated COVID. It was a combination of the masks, the social distancing, and the vaccine. And so I'm just thankful for that. So I wish that $500 million was staying there for mRNA research, but it's being lost now. RFK Jr. says, fuck that shit. And we got to live with it because Trump is in the White House. You shrug, you move on. So fat people, they cannot have Mountain Dew. And you and I no longer get mRNA research for our next vaccine, for our next pandemic. It's not happening. We're all just going to die. And we have to live with our death. Amanda is the tip of the spear for cheap food. And I think she made an excellent point on Hamburger Helper. Let's break this down. How much does Hamburger Helper cost? All right. You can get a box of Hamburger Helper for $2.48. Plus a pound of ground beef. Let's just say $4 for that. You're looking at $6.48. You can probably get 4 servings. Okay, that's $1.62 a serving. Anybody who doesn't think that the Hamburger Helper diet isn't cost effective is a stupid asshole. $1.62 a serving. If I'm broke, I'm buying Hamburger Helper. You cannot argue with her point that shit food like Hamburger Helper is cost effective. Megan says healthy food is not expensive. You just have to have a plan. Perhaps, but not as cheap as Hamburger Helper. And most of the people that are on food stamps now, not all of them, but a lot of them are stupid, who don't have the wherewithal to plan a meal. And they'd rather just take the easy way out. So you have that. You have a combination of poverty and stupidity. You blend those two together, Hamburger Helper stock goes through the roof. Bob says a box of Hamburger Helper barely feeds two, though. Disagree. I guess it depends on how gross the person is that's eating it. Even if if one person ate the whole box, $6.48 for Hamburger Helper is not that expensive. Like if you ate a whole box of Hamburger Helper per day and you did that for 7 days a week, that's still you're eating for $47.88 a week. Sure, your arteries are clogged and you're going to be dead by the time you're 38 and you weigh 900 pounds and nobody wants to be around you and you smell like shit all the time. But you're still eating for $47.88 a week. All right. Megan says Hamburger Helper, Walmart now, $3 a box. Exactly. Molly says you cannot get alcohol and Snap. I was on it before. Yep. I love that it worked for you guys. You know, like Megan was on it for a time. And Amanda was on it. And Molly was on it. You utilized the system for what it was intended, and then you moved on. You bettered yourself. That's what it's intended for. So not everybody is just going to milk the system, for God's sake. Thank God audience members of this show look towards self-growth. By the way, I am seriously considering buying some Hamburger Helper today. Now, that stuff is fucking great. Amanda says, my friend used to buy food for her friend, and then her friend would give her the cash because she had so much extra. Megan says, that's illegal. Yeah, whatever. You know, you do what you do. You do what you have to do. David says food from a box is garbage food. I know, but it's delicious. Amanda says, David, I do not disagree, but it's cheaper than buying fresh produce, fruits and vegetables, and fish and stuff. Jeremy says, to be clear, I'm fine with people getting whatever they want on Snap, but don't just say it's cheaper. Be honest about it. It's easier. You're busy raising your kids, and sometimes you just want a treat. Yeah, it's okay. It's cheaper and it's easier. Piano Finger Banger wants me to show the tat. There's the tat. There you go. That's me. Thing's really old now. Starting to fade. Jeremy says a box of fish sticks is $7, and the whole fish, which will give you 2 times more fish sticks, is like $12. All right, whatever. Badger says chicken thighs are so underrated and cheap. You're not kidding, man. Aldi. My God. We made a trip to Aldi the other day. I don't know why I stopped going to Aldi. There was a lady at that fucking store, by the way, who every corner I turned around, she was in my way. And I'm like, oh, boy. And I just stop in my tracks. I am a big proponent of when I am on an aisle and I'm moving, even though there's aisles where people are going to stop and turn right or left, I always yield because too often people with their carts they won't yield. It's like tunnel vision. And I go slow, and I'm always looking out for the other person. It's getting so bad these days. It's even worse than it's ever been. Amanda says a pound of ground beef is $4.79. Food stamps people get the best steaks. Amanda wants you to buy 2 boxes. Keep the hamburger at £1. You'll feed 4 people. Amanda says, why do you guys think that I was almost at 300 pounds before I started the job that I'm in now, where it allowed me to get gastric bypass? Wait a minute. I thought you were always 300 pounds. I thought when you were born, you were 300 pounds. Jeremy says Hamburger Helper also has 0 nutritional value. It's just the carbs. A chicken, rice, and veggie meal will give you more nutritional value for roughly the same price, if not less, and it keeps you full longer. Amanda says, I did not learn. I still eat the garbage food. I just don't have food stamps to buy at this time. Okay. Yeah, I think actually, that's kind of revealing because you packed on the pounds last week. You had the biggest jump in Fat-a-thon history. You gained almost 5 pounds in a week. That hasn't happened before. You are breaking records as you are surging now north of 300 pounds with that hellacious jump. You gained a stout 4.6, and you, as of Monday, were 307.2. So I think that admission right there that you still eat the junk food, I think that's probably the snake in the grass there. Okay. Badger says, I'm in my 50s. I was raised on Hamburger Helper. Amanda says, I bought 2 small Meyer cakes. And Jeremy says, I gained less weight when my dad croaked. Amanda says, I'm seriously like those people on 600-pound life. All right, well, so basically what you're it's a matter of a decision that you're making. Either you are doing it or you are not. And the surge is real. The surge is real with that 4.6-pound bulge. And then last week, you had like a 3.5. You gained over 8 pounds in 2 weeks. So you're going to have to focus and get back on the horse and stop eating Hamburger Helper and count your calories. That's what I suggest you do. You do what you want. Amanda is trying to capitalize on a liquid diet because she's having a colonoscopy. And so she's taking the medicine to get everything out of her system so that the doctor can take a camera and put it in her keister and look around. I would have such a boner if I was that doctor. All right. Good luck on that. I want to thank everybody that's watching the show on YouTube and Facebook. But I'm going to send you on your way. If you want the rest of the show, it's on Twitch. And I have a lot to cover because I woke up this morning, and again, it is another day where the Segment 18 Facebook group for Free Beer and Hot Wings, which is north of 20,000 people, out of the blue, another attack on your old pal EZ, and it's fantastic. It's absolutely great, and I'm here for it. And thank you to the folks on that Facebook group who have let me have it brick by brick, I am convincing audience members there that this is the real deal. This show right here, me, one microphone, one camera, my dogs, kicked indoor, is a more entertaining venture than my pals on Free Beer and Hot Wings. And that's the first time I've mentioned them. And I wouldn't have mentioned them at all today because there's so much to talk about today with Howard quitting and Hamburger Helper and Amanda's asshole that I don't have to talk about them. But here we are. Did you ever have the Hamburger Helper double cheeseburger macaroni? Oh my God. Really great. They even have Hamburger Helper stroganoff. My God. Amanda writes, aha, because as you know, she's pushing out all of the feces from her body. She says, I just weighed myself. I'm at 302.6. Okay. Well, look, you're at a crossroads here. If you eat sensibly, you're going to live longer. But if you do decide to not eat sensibly, make sure you eat Hamburger Helper because at least it'll be delicious. Amanda says, don't forget, Eric, you get to add more cheese on it when you have it in the bowl. Megan says stroganoff is what's for dinner at the Megan household. Man Bun Chris writes, it's funny that they say FBHW is all you talk about, but it's mostly brought up by them in the Segment 18 Facebook page. Precisely. Donut dances. Why do those morons on the 18 deal not, why do they not write about the show itself? Because the show is just going through the motions and is not funny anymore. Yeah, there's really nothing interesting about it. Badger says, picture Amanda at 120 pounds. She'd be a hot fox. Oh, yeah. And the thing is, Amanda doesn't have to drop down to 120 from 302 point whatever, what she is now after shitting out the world. Because all she'd have to do is drop down to 220, and then they'd have to hack off 100 pounds of skin. Because there would be so much extra skin there, the surgeon would have to remove it. Or she could keep it on, and we can get her to climb to a top of the mountains in the UP and jump off and have her own fucking wingsuit. She'd look like a fucking giant flying squirrel. And she could glide down with her own skin glide there. It'd be amazing. Holy fuck. It's a hell of a visual if you can picture that. You ever see those guys in those wingsuits? Oh my God, do I love those. I saw some guy who's at the tip top of a mountain. It was one of those Red Bull dudes. And he jumped off and he put his arms out and he's ripping down the hill and he's got a parachute. When he gets low enough, he pulls the chute. And wow. That is something. And then they've got like a big hoop and he flies through the hoop. He's able to actually navigate it so he can fly. It's incredible. If you were to show that to the Wright brothers and see that we have actually mastered flight, oh my God. Ben Glaze says, after she loses the weight, hopefully she keeps those big milkers. Oh, she's going to need total reconstructive surgery because a good portion of those titties are fat. So they're going to hang down like those Yanomamo Indians that are featured on the cover of National Geographic. They're going to hang down like, inner city pit bull dog. You know what I'm talking about? If you live in the inner city, all dogs there have those huge titties. And that's what Amanda's knockers are going to look like when she loses the weight. They're going to look like shit because of the amount of stretching that has happened. But she signed up for that. All right. Maureen says she loses weight in her boobs first thing. Amanda says, all right, everybody, you got to hold me to it. No, we are not. We are not holding you to anything. This is your job and yours only. Don't make everybody do that. All right? I mean, we can talk about it, sure, if that's what you means holding you to it. But no, you got to do this on your own. You know, all I can do is talk. I'm just lip service. That's all I did with Jeremy. And Jeremy is the one who actually did it. You know, and he's still doing it. He could fuck it up today. I don't know. No, do it yourself. We're not holding you to it. She says, what I'm going to do is I'm going to treat this like it was my surgery, and I'll go back to the diet I was supposed to have after surgery. Bob in PA says she can't lose the missile tits. Well, I think it's a matter of life and death, and I think she'll have more. They won't even be titties. You know those things that kids play with in the pool, those noodles? She will have noodle tits at that point. Jeremy says, luckily, Becky's titties are 90% muscle, so they just keep getting bigger as she gets stronger. Yeah, the muscle mass on her is incredible. When I ran into Becky at the corner bar last time for pinball orgy number 1, she put her arms around me, and I go, that's not good enough. Squeeze me. And she went, and I went, oh, my God, yes. And I think it actually lifted off of the sack somewhat. She says, do you want me to crack your back next time? I want you to beat me. Rebecca is a great person to talk to. She says, Amanda, you still need to work on the underlying food addiction. I'll say this. Anything like what Jeremy's doing right now, it takes time. You have to give yourself time to make it a habit. And he obviously is well past making it a habit. He's been at it for nearly 1 full year. But I think you got to, I've talked about this many, many times. 1 day at a time, and then do that for like 30 days before you actually start to see where it's getting easier. Those first 30, 40, 50, 60 days are so critical. I mean, you haven't done anything for longer than a few days. You're the worst. You're probably the least successful dieter in the history of the planet. There are people on my 600-pound life who look at you and go, oh, God, she's the worst because of your inconsistency. Jeremy says, replace your food addiction with something else. I choose pinball. Maybe you could try heroin. Rebecca says, or she could choose penis. I don't judge. Good point. By the way, I have not yet kicked anybody out yet. I promised that I would be kicking people out. But I don't think I'm going to today. I'm just going to leave you there. And since that is such a benevolent act by me, I'm expecting you all who are watching on Facebook and YouTube to go over to Twitch and subscribe because most days the show is on Twitch. Speaking of health, today is a running day. Yesterday was not. That's what I'm doing right now. That's where my world is. Run one day and don't run the next day and hope that my knees survive, with this osteoarthritis that I have. So far, so good. running day 4 days ago. I ran 2 miles, varying my pace from jog to a little faster. And then went as hard as I could on the final mile. And I was able to maintain a pace of 9 minutes and 16 seconds for that mile. 2 days ago, I said, I'm going to kick ass. I'm shattering this today. And I beat the shit out of that time with the exact same route that I ran and everything. And I did it in 8 minutes and 53 seconds. Today, I'm going to shatter that fucking thing again. I'm looking to go sub 8:45, maybe faster, for that mile. Last time I ran, I did the first half mile in 4 minutes and 20 seconds. The second half mile I did in 4 minutes and 32 seconds. So I'm slowing down. I should be I have a negative split. It should be flipped. The back half is supposed to be faster. Now, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself and talk about what I'm going to do next. I'm just working out the time on the road and getting the workout in. Then we'll take it as it comes. Man Bun Chris says, are you at the track for these? No. I have the distance on the roads. Okay, I'm going to bring in segment 18 in just a minute. But before I do that, I have a big salute going out to the sponsors that keep this show growing. And there's a lot of them today, and I'm so thankful for Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid and EV. 616-532-6600. If you have any type of car repairs and you're like, I can't do this, I need help, this might be me after I ruin the power steering replacement, which is going to happen soon enough. Yeah, come get it, or I'm going to bring it over to you, or I'm having it towed. But I'm stubborn. I have a 23-year-old truck. I want to try doing the work by myself. Hopefully I'll be successful. But when I'm not, and definitely with Diana's car, or Madison's car, I try not to do the work on those things. It's just a little bit too complex for me. Irvine's is who you want to call upon. 616-532-6600. ervines.com. That's ervines.com. They're in the middle of Grand Rapids, Michigan. And, of course, they have free loaner cars for you. It's a great place to get your vehicle repaired. They pay attention to every single detail. Kuiper Tree Care will take care of your trees that are past their prime. Tree removal, maybe there's some storm damage. They can take care of that. Tree risk assessment. You're like, what's wrong with this tree? They have 3 certified arborists that can help you. They also can clean up any storm damage, stump grinding. Reach out, call or text in West Michigan, 616-828-8225. That's 616-828-8225. Oakland Auto Detail. They work on 1 car a day. 1! And bringing it back to life, making it look as good as new. It might be just an interior clean and an exterior clean. It might be interior clean, exterior clean, ceramic coating over it, ceramic polish job. That's the way to go. If you really want to preserve the finish of your paint, especially on a newer car, every so often you get a ceramic coating on it. It lasts for a heck of a long time. It's better than waxing. All of the little nicks and scratches from washing it yourself or taking it through car washes, that all comes out when they're doing ceramic polishing. If you want more information, and so that you can become one of the 1 car a day, be the 1 car every day. If you want your car next in line, reach out to my friends at Oakland Auto Detail. Please mention me when you reach out. Call or text 616-510-3470. 616-510-3470. Their services make a great gift for someone. And follow them on Facebook. Their videos are fun. They're short, easy to watch. And it gives you that nice sense of, oh, my God, this thing looked like shit, and now it looks great type of vibe. You can watch them before bedtime like I do. Follow Oakland Auto Detail on Facebook. Berlin Raceway. There's racing this weekend at Berlin Raceway. You can get a ticket for $15 as long as it's before 11:59 p.m. on Friday night. BerlinRaceway.com. $15 a ticket. Kids free, 15 and under. Parking is free. Bring in a cooler or a bag as long as it's 12 by 18 or smaller with all your snacks, soft drinks, no booze, no glass at Berlin Raceway. And I will be there Saturday, August 23rd for the first ever edition of Uninformed Track Announcer with your old pal EZ. I'll be talking to the crowd and doing track announcing, play-by-play of the race, and I have no idea what I'm talking about. Uninformed Track Announcer debuts August 23rd at Berlin Raceway, and you can be there for that. That's the day after the second annual Pinball Orgy. It's a big, easy weekend for that weekend. David says, the 23-year-old truck, you have hot tub money. Get a newer one, easy. Nah, I love that truck. In fact, I want to bring it back because the rocker panels at the bottom are all rusted out. You know, it's old Chevy truck, Silverado. I want to restore it. I mean, I can't restore it, but my friends over at the fucking guy who kills the lions in Africa and zebras and orangutans and silverback gorillas. What's his name? Ryan Selvius over at Metalworks Body Shop. He's going to fix it for me. Makes me sick, though. I go over there, dude, what the fuck? Did you shoot a silverback gorilla? Yeah, it was great. I don't even know if that's legal. He goes, who gives a shit? I love MAGA. Fucking dumbass. Man Bun says, it's all right. You'll do fine. We have a PA guy for our soccer games. He doesn't even know anything about soccer, and it still works. I know a little bit about soccer. I know that I watched, you know what I watched last time I was at Fear Bunker North? It was on TV. The Women's Euro Final. I saw England come back from a 1-0 deficit in the second half, and they beat Spain? The Spain women, or was it the Portuguese women? I think it was Spain. I watched that fucking game. I was like, hey, I know what's going on there. All right. Chris says, besides, that truck is the embellisher. Dad's truck. Gotta hold on to it. Okay, yeah, your old pal EZ needs to use the boys' room. But so far, you've been an outstanding audience. I really love the chat on this show. Let me just tell you something. If you're an audience member and you're silent, don't be silent. Subscribe, follow, and chat. You're allowed to do that. Some of you, I don't know who you are. Steve from Yellowstone, I see you. He's pretty new. Roscoe Higgins, what's up? Rob T, I think I've seen you before. I don't know. KTM Kingpin, hello. Joe Martinez is here. DRP 7255 is quiet. One of you I know is a sock account. But I can't really get into it. I just keep it quiet. So I don't know who you are. So I am oftentimes suspicious of that. It was an ugly scenario, but long story. I don't want to get into it. But anyway, Badger says, what is a sock account? A sock account is a piece of terminology that you say for someone who has a fake account. Like if I was on Reddit and I wanted to say something and not be me, I use my sock account. I don't have a sock account. I take it back. I have one sock account, but I don't use it at all. I'm not above sock account, but I haven't used a sock account in forever. Bob also says known as a burner account. I don't know what it means by sock account. I just heard Carl say it. David says, why not just say fake account? Exactly. You're right. That's a great idea. I could do that. Molly says, I lurk only because I work. How much do you know of me? I know enough. I know you're just an angel. Thank you. Joe Martinez gives me the finger for some reason. I don't know what the fuck his problem is. All right. It's potty break time on this edition of the Eric Zane Show podcast. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Enjoy the dog. All right, I see as I return that there's still a little bit more fat talk. Amanda says, I'm here. I've got some homework to do, LOL. Nick, Black Belt Nick says, it's hard. I'm 5 years out from surgery and still learning. Don't think of it as losing 200 pounds. Think of it as losing 1 pound a week. Amanda says, yep. Nick says, you'll figure it out. Badger says you're going to have a comeback, Amanda. All right, so there's a lot of support there. But it's all based on you just got to decide, man. You know, you got to like, hey, it's either, what is that thing that Yoda says? I don't remember it. There is no try, just do. Or some shit like that. I can't do a Yoda, and plus it hurts my throat. Either you're going to do it or you're not going to do it. Do or do not. There is no try. That's it. By the way, I saw that hanging on the wall, that saying, over at Dr. Penny Avery's house in the basement. Her husband is this dude, Todd, who I actually did a podcast with Todd. We watched the finale of Game of Thrones here, and then we did a show about it here. And so this is many, many years ago. And he's a theater guy. He's retired now. He's a teacher. He was he would teach the kids theater stuff. All the theater dorks were his students. Well, they go, hey, I had to go downstairs and see something in his basement, and his collection of he's a big collector of Lord of the Rings toys. And what are they? I don't think they're called. I don't think they refer to them as toys. What are they called? Dolls. He's a doll collector. That isn't right either. It's collectibles, and they're all like in the package. And it's the house. He's even like, if you're in the basement, you know how like you have rafters on the ceiling? They're tacked to the rafters, all of them. They're like on display. Figurines I'm seeing. His collection is probably the greatest thing I have ever seen. And he's on Twitch, and what he does on Twitch is this. He's got a camera on him, and he's holding a Dungeons and Dragons figurine. You know how you play that game and you can use a little, you know what I'm talking about, right? He's got like an elf, and he paints it, and he's got a second camera on him painting the elf, and that's what he does on there. He just chit chats and paints elves on Twitch, and he miniatures. Nick, Black Belt Nick says, and he probably gets 5 times the audience of me. Jeremy says a male teacher with Lord of the Rings shit who is married to a woman. What? Yoda World says some of those are worth money. Oh, the collection is outstanding. It is probably the greatest collection I have ever seen of anything that's ever been collected. And probably the most amazing displaying ability of it. And you don't want to screw with those people because they'll slaughter you. You know, you don't say anything negative. Chris K says, I used to paint a lot of miniatures. Still have a bunch. Yeah. I am learning that most people in the world have something like this. Rebecca says, careful. Legos. You put together Legos. Referring to Jeremy. Yeah, Jeremy does Legos. I think Rebecca does too. So we have a lot of adults that do these things that are considered childlike. I do not. Like I don't collect comics anymore. But these are all things that people like do in their free time. It could be gaming, something that at a period of time was looked at as just something that a child would do. Like in 1971, adults did not do anything that could be considered, childlike at one point. They didn't do anything. They didn't have anything to do. In 1971, you would beat your wife or smoke or drink. That's it. And all those things were acceptable. Sometimes if you're doing it while driving, that's even better. So you could be driving and punching your wife in the face. And then other motorists see you and they're like, oh, cool. And then they start punching their wives. If you're fortunate, you can turn over and punch children. I don't know if you've ever been punched by your parents, by your dad driving. Thank you, Megan. I'll get to that in just a second, my dear. I appreciate you. But, so, you would leave to go to some place 15 miles away. Your mom gets out of the car and her nose is busted. And dad's got a cigarette. He's got a heater in his mouth. And people are like, oh, okay. You pass the time by beating your wife, smoking, and drinking. Donut Dance is 1971. People work too damn hard to have time for the enjoyable things we do today. Yeah. In 1971, like my dad, he put in like 140 hours a week selling insurance. So like in 1971, my dad probably brought home like 300 large, which is like millions of dollars in today's money. And I've got pictures of him with a heater at his desk, wearing like a plaid suit and selling like Jordan Belfort, selling the pink sheets in Wolf of Wall Street. Motherfucker could sell anything. Smoke his ass off, drink, beat up mom, and then have a heart attack at like 38. It's true. That's true. He actually did. He had a grabber. So nowadays, the average American works like 34 hours. And then they say that's too much work. And then they collect shit and they do kid stuff. Like you guys do. You have, Legos, figurines, other stupid shit, collect comics. I don't do any of that. I spend all my time working. I am a throwback. I don't beat my wife, though, because she would kick my ass. I don't drink. You might get the occasional heater crossing my lips. Don't forget about Pokemon. Yes. People love the Pokemon. Black Belt Nick says Gen X and later said, fuck that. We want our hobbies. And you're going to live longer because of it. You're going to be poor, but who cares? Megan points out someone at KTM Kingpin apparently said something nice. I can't even find it now. What's up, Easy? Made the switch from FBHW VIP to watching and listening to you. Couldn't do FBHW, especially after checking back and with your show. I'm on the Patreon. Also, keep it up. Can you send me an email, please? I appreciate that. Eric@ericzaneshow.com. I would love to hear your story. Thank you for being here. I'll keep my eye out. Just a, hey, this is me. Thank you. I like to know. I like to have conversations with people. And don't forget, email is eric@ericzaneshow.com on the Shoreliner Striping inbox. I would appreciate that. Who are you on Patreon, too? Let me know that in the email. And thanks. That's very kind. KTM Kingpin apparently rides a motorcycle. And Chris asks, do you ride? If so, what do you ride? What would lead you to that? KTM Kingpin. What does that mean? Does that mean he's into motorcycles? David says you spent all your money on the fraud bus. So you don't have a hobby. That's true. That's absolutely true. And you know what? I'm starting to come to grips. I'm about to make another payment right now of $1,250 for this month's payment on the fraud bus. That is now the second payment I will have made since it's been for sale. And I have had almost no interest from anyone wanting to buy it. And as the summer wears on, it's the odds are less and less that it will be sold this year. So I've come to grips with the fact that I'm taking a huge loss on this thing. Let's do some of the math here just so that you can all feel better about the financial scenario that you are in, whatever it may be. Because I guarantee you, because of this is going to make you feel better. Like you might have bounced a check recently, or maybe you got a medical bill coming or child support due. Let's go over the groundwork on this. Vehicle cost $187,000. I put $35,000 down on the vehicle. All right? That's gone. So that means I'm in for $35,000. Not getting that back. I owe about $147,000. Right now, it's for sale for $124,500. Why so low, you ask? I don't know. I have a professional who's selling it. He goes, easy, this is a good price. I'm looking at comps. It's like having a realtor sell your home. I'm looking at comparable homes in your neighborhood for this year, make and model with this many miles. This is a good price. I said, okay, Dylan, do it. So then I wrap my mind. Nakua says, how much does he get for selling it? 6%. So let's say it sells today for $124,500. I give him a check for $7,470. Add that to the $35,000 large that I paid when I started this debacle. Now we got to do the math problem of $147,000 minus $124,500, which is what I sell the vehicle for, the unit for. Hey, we're upside down. Let's throw another log on that fire of $22,500. That's if it sells today. Now we add up those two ridiculous numbers, $22,500 plus $7,470 plus $35,000. Net loss, $64,970. Oh. This is a timeshare level of fuck up. That's what this is. I took 10 trips with that thing. That works out to $6,497 a trip. Some of them, it was a 2-hour trip. That is not counting the cost of the gasoline. It is not counting the cost of insurance. Matt says put that $64,970 on Pooh Bear's student loan. Pooh Bear doesn't have any student loans. No one in my family has a student loan, by the way. Not a one yet. Madison's going to graduate school. She says, Dad, you don't have to pay for it anymore. I go, okay, how much does it cost per semester? I go, first of all, what school you want to go to? She goes, oh, it's called the University of Michigan. I go, Madison, master's degree work at that school. She goes, oh, I know. It's $21,000 a semester. which actually is cheaper than what it was at Hope College. Oh, my God. Branjo says, can you check out your interest rate? If your credit is good, you could consolidate it. I don't know, whatever. Donut dances, damn, brother, can we start a GoFundMe for you? No, just subscribe to Patreon. That'll be wonderful. You get something out of it. Mallory said she loved the Madison segment yesterday. Madison crept in here for about 3 minutes. And now, could we be tapping into a new audience? If we, basically what I was thinking is I would just run questions by her. It doesn't necessarily have to, this might go the way this would be fun. Easy and Madison podcast. Now, some of you are like, Easy, you can't even do the Easy and Pooh Bear podcast. This is true. This is very true. But it's fun to talk about. And I think that if we ever decided to do these things, it would be a hit. But you got to understand, I have many, many irons in the fire, ladies and gentlemen. And once you add stuff to the roster, you can't take it away. So I have to be very particular about what I add. I have to be bullish about my time. I'm already adding new things recently. I'm adding the teaching class, the broadcast podcast class. I'm adding that to the consumption of time. I'm also adding the book club show. Takes up time. So I have to be very, very strict about what I allot for time. Branjo says it would be a rotating group of show members, just whoever is available. A weekly segment like Dear Meathead, Dear Madison. David says that is a great idea. Ladies and gentlemen, you know that the lifeblood of this show is your ideas in the chat and emails that come in. Any good idea we've ever had has come this way. And that's another great one. That's outstanding. All right. There was another thing I wanted to read. Oh, how does David says we are still waiting for the Pooh Bear podcast. That's a good point. Why don't we reach out to Pooh Bear, because somebody actually has a question for Pooh Bear. How does she feel about the Pooh Bear podcast? I also see I got a phone call from Saul. I should call him back. He called at 10:37 today. Hi, Eric. He's fumbling for the phone. All right, I'm going to miss him. It's too bad. If he calls back, I'll bring him in with Pooh Bear. I'm excited about the pinball orgy.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on? What are you doing right now?
Resting.
The return to school is on the horizon. You realize that, don't you?
I do. So I'm taking advantage of every second.
This is I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I already got meetings next week, so time is winding down.
There is a request for the Pooh Bear podcast.
Oh, dear.
So if the audience has any questions for the Pooh Bear podcast, this is an impromptu edition of the Pooh Bear podcast. These folks say they get mad at me because I commit to doing something like the Pooh Bear podcast, and then it just doesn't happen.
Oh, yeah. Got to follow through on those things.
Question number 1.
If I get one honk question or one Hot Wings truck question, I'm hanging up.
Well, I'm not going to lie to you. There was a question.
Okay, well, I'm not answering it again.
Bob has a question. He writes, can we get the forbidden story?
No.
Okay, you have answered that question. What are your thoughts on the fraud bus is another question.
Oh, God.
By the way, the math is more than $60,000 in loss.
Yeah. I don't even like to talk about it. It's ridiculous. Surprised that it hasn't sold yet, but not surprised.
Yeah, of course. We might be stuck with that thing forever.
I hope not. That'd be awful.
Badger says you sound sad. Some folks are wondering about your health. How are you with the, like, last night or yesterday was bad for you. You got that cataract surgery and you were out of it.
I was. I don't know what the hell happened. The first time it wasn't bad at all. I could see everything. I mean, I could remember everything. I didn't have it. I wasn't that tired. I wasn't that messed up. But this time, I don't know. Maybe they gave me a little extra juice because all of a sudden I did not remember a thing.
Yeah, and then you asked me, Eric, what eye is open or is my eye closed? I'm sitting next to you in the car. Hey, Eric, is my eye closed? I'm like, that's pretty easy to determine that.
Well, I don't know why I asked that.
Nate's question is, what is your favorite way to punish Eric?
Well, he hates to lose Pooh Bear points, so.
Yeah, I would say that's a big one.
Yeah. So I think that's probably it.
What is a easy way for me to lose Pooh Bear points?
Be a cock. Yeah.
Man Bun Chris says, why does she deny the Horn Saga so much?
Oh, my God. Oh. I don't understand this whole bullshit thing.
I think they're suggesting that it sounded like it was coming from inside of the vehicle.
Okay, well, it can sound like it all at once, but I did not honk. I mean, why the hell would I keep denying it?
There's
it's
also
a horn. Who cares? It's
yeah,
not like I robbed a bank.
Someone says, which hand, actually, Nakua Matata says, which hand do you like to use when honking the horn?
Next question.
Did you honk the horn? This is another question.
Oh, my God.
Did you honk the horn when you hit Hot Wings' truck?
Oh, my God. Cock 1 and cock 2.
All right.
Whoever those people are.
That is going to conclude this episode of the Pooh Bear Podcast.
Oh, already?
Okay. Badger says, does Eric's crank work like it did in 1999?
No. But we're old.
Well, I'm affected by medicine.
Yeah. This is true.
I mean, I can't help it. I have a prostate issue. I'm just happy I don't have cancer.
That is true. I'm happy about that, too.
All right.
Yeah.
Maureen says, you cockheads, don't piss her off or this will be the only episode.
This is true. No, I didn't honk the fucking horn. No, I did not hit Hot Wings' truck. All of you screw off. And that is that. What do you think of that?
Megan says, this is why Diana likes you and I, to Maureen. This is why Diana likes you and I, because she gets you.
Yeah,
She
exactly.
Gets you. Joe Martinez checks in.
Oh, boy.
He says, I'm older than Eric, and mine works fine.
Well?
Joe Martinez might be wanting to satisfy you.
Oh my God. Okay, I gotta go now.
All right. Well, that concludes the show.
Okay, well, let's do it again.
All right, there you go.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Megan with a great question about my penis. Says, isn't it the balls and not so much the crank? Well, it's like I just don't have like that extra gear anymore. The medicine affects libido. So I'm just kind of like, it's like dating a guy who's bad at sex. That I'm no longer any good at sex. That's what it boils down to. She says that's Lexapro. No, it's a different medicine. Maybe that might have something to do with it, but then that would mean two medicines. David says the yogurt cannon has no yogurt. I have yogurt. It just won't launch it. So it needs a little bit more oomph. It's like I need a pacemaker for my crank. Megan says you could just do it in your hand and fling it. It doesn't fly out of there. No matter what I do, it doesn't matter if it's a hand doing it or what. It's just less intense orgasms. That's what's happening. It's about the intensity. If the intensity is high, like let's just say I have a good day. You might get a little goo, but most days it does not. Okay? So Rebecca says they make implants for that. No, the stiffness is not an issue. Let's make sure we're all on the same page here. Stiffness is okay. But yeah, there's no dick lard flying out when the big moment happens. And the big moment is kind of like what was back in the day is more like a now. Does that make sense? I know that's all very descriptive, but that's funny. Megan says the term dick lard really got her mother. Megan's mother, Jamie, is hearing me discuss my man problems. Do you have me right now on that big screen inside of the facility? So that and if there's a Custer, pardon the pun there, Freudian slip. If a customer comes in, you would then mute it, or am I like on a laptop or a computer? Okay, I'm on the computer, and it's blasting out, and Mom heard me mention dick lard. Rebecca says we have no secrets in this family. Well, you don't, I don't, at least for me, you guys can leave something to the imagination. I don't try to ask too much because I want you to have that advantage. I don't ever want anybody to feel pressure to say something that they don't want to do because I'm always going to say the most ridiculous thing ever. That's what people signed up for. That's what I'm here for. Okay. I haven't even gotten to what I was going to get to, and that is the Segment 18 fiasco. Just a little bit of background. That's a Facebook group. It's a fan page for my old show. It's more than 20,000 people on there. Now, there have been times when I've actually posted on it, looking for trouble. More often than not, I do not post down there. I wait till someone else in that 20,000 people audience posts about me. And they're never nice. They always say something horrible. Not everybody hates me on there, but most of the people on there hate me. And they'll say something mean, and then I'll weigh in. And I'm like, and I've said many times, I was like, I don't know why. If you hate me so much, This is ridiculous of you to do this. It's so stupid because the last thing you'd want is for people to check me out. I mean, anytime I'm top of mind over there, you just might get someone who says, what's this all about? And then listens, and then I might make them an audience member, which that's great for me. That is always great for me. So that happened again. Aaron Adamczyk. Aaron Adamczyk. He took my YouTube version of one of my shows, the July 9th show, and wrote, Zane claims to be a Catholic, and then posts shit like this. He is such a piece of shit for going after Free Beer's kids. It's quite sickening. Now, I didn't ask what happened with the kids. I don't recall. As you know, I don't remember much of anything that I say on a given show. If you were to ask me about what I said today, I don't fucking know. That's why I have to often ask, who's the idiot or the asshole of the day? What the fuck do we talk about today? I don't recall saying anything bad about the kids. I did say a crack about his oldest kid. And I think the crack was future school. I said he looks like a future school shooter, which is a great crack. And this is the same kid that Greg described as a weird kid on one of their Segment 17 shows back in the day. He goes, yeah, he's weird. Can you imagine if your father called you weird? Well, anyway. Free Beer's kids, it's quite sickening. I used to give him the benefit of the doubt, but this video is the last straw. Disgusting, and fuck him. 122 views in a month. Huh, Zane? Impressive, you fucking piece of shit loser. So this guy is pissed. So then I'm like, all right, what do I do here? Do I ignore this? No, I can't ignore this. I need to further the conversation, because if I can further the conversation, that helps me. It's all about getting butts in the seats. Now, some of these folks are regular audience members of mine who are probably here right now. Logan here is in Maine. I know Logan. He said, how dare him? Dustin said, I left him a fitting comment. It's really trashy what he says about the wife and children. Jay posts a pic from me during the Mr. 10 contest. A little grainy. I wish that was a better pic. I wrote, oh, hell yes, totally ripped. Alan is here. A very active member of this chat. He says, Easy is a man of God. Don't worry, it's cool. I'm sure he's just joking. This person says, I assure you, Aaron, the guy who made the post, says, Aaron says, I assure you he was not. Our Jeremy writes, I can't wait until he shows up here and all he says is thanks for the attention. And I wrote, I'm here now. Mike wrote, Mike wrote, never cared for him, always thought he was an egotistical jackass, okay? And I responded to Aaron's post, and I said, Aaron, I see you haven't listened in a while. I gave up on Catholicism a long time ago. No worries, it's all good. Thanks for the help, and thanks for helping me promote the show. He does not respond. Another guy responds. Nate says, yeah, maybe instead of your typical 10 to 30 views, your quote-unquote show will hit that big 3-digit mark. I'm actually surprised you were able to fall that far from popularity the last 10 years. But looking at your YouTube, I realize you have nothing to offer. I said 30 is more than normal. What can I say? Nate says, maybe try. He thinks I'm like really worried about this. He writes, maybe try saying something else. You have been giving mouth-to-mouth to a corpse man for too long, dude. And I wrote, yeah, I'm doing it all wrong. Thanks for the pro tip, friend. I always roll with these. You can't, attack back. You got to let them do the talking. So I do. Nate says, just post a video of your cat. You'll get more traction. I said, will do. I'm lucky to have your support. Thank you for supporting my page here. Implying that this is my page. He doesn't get it. I always try and watch the opening act, he says, and then I wrote my man. Nicole wrote, Zane is a bitter piece of shit. Pathetic that he needs to use FBHW as material. I haven't listened to him in years, but he sounds different. Almost like he's drunk. So I'm like, all right. I wrote, I am totally drunk, stoned too. Then I took a close-up of her face, and I said, speaking of old, LOL. She said, good one. As I said, you're a bitter piece of shit. I don't think that's bitter. I thought that was a good joke. Chris jumps in and says, you're the one who sounds bitter, you POS. So then I should say this. Don't make fun of the cute ones. Yeah, this chick looks like fuck. She's one of these. I get so much entertainment out of, and people have talked about it before, but it's in my playbook. All I need to do is see how fucked up these people look. And you can also learn a lot about a person from their profile pics. I am not lying. If you are a person that does like Nicole here, watch. This is a pic that she took on March 11th. And you see this arrow here? That allows you to thumb through all of the pics. And look at these people. Jenny says, so pretty. Ann says, my pretty, always special to me. Pamela says, you haven't changed. She hasn't changed. Fuck, she's been like this her whole life. And then look, you just hit this arrow here. Watch. Boom, 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 boom. This is what these narcissistic, ugly people do. They take one picture of themselves and they post it. Boom, 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 boom. That tells you she's fucking retarded. I don't know who this is. Maybe it's her daughter. And then all she does is takes these gross pictures of herself. She's disgusting. We're going back now 5 years. This is all she... And then she takes ugly pictures of her and her fucking cat. Wow. Red flag. If you are like have a chick who thinks you can see where she really started to age right here. 2019, she looked reasonably young. And then right after that, she's still reasonably young. And then life starts getting hard right here. See all these blotches on her fucking face? That's rosacea. That's what happens when you get old. 2020 happened. And now she's falling apart. God, what a monster. Ugh. That's a red flag. If all she can post is pictures of herself and her cat, you don't want any part of that. You know, that's a bad deal right there. Runner girl Amy says those pics are with filters too. Megan says she might have hit 44. I talked about that just yesterday. There are two key ages, 44 and 60. When you hit those ages, there's a big jump in wear and tear on your body. You start to look more fucked up. Donut Dan says, what the fuck? Who takes pics and posts them of themselves with nothing of context with them? Can you say boring life and super alone? Exactly. Ugh. Badger says, red light, red flag. All her smiles are covering the chiclets. Yeah, if she showed her teeth, they'd be all jagged and look like she chews on glass. Megan says, I'm going to enjoy 42 and 43, and then I'll be a disaster. Oh, yeah. It's coming. We all start to look fucked up. All right, at some point in time. None of us are going to be attractive when we're elderly. It's time to wrap your mind around that. So 44 was a big, point in time where you started to look like shit really bad. If you were to go back and do the math on your Facebook photos, you could probably determine that. All right. Now, I'm not quite done with this. There's more to this, but I wanted to post on that ugly bitch and then move on with more of the comments. So, again, they did this to me. I didn't bring it up. I was minding my own business. John writes, 2 people liked his podcast. That tells you something. He is desperate for viewers. Folks don't care what he says. And I said, yeah, it's like they listen or watch somewhere else. Mike adds, half of your stuff is about FBHW. Move on and get some original content, LMAO. After I said, it's like they listen somewhere else. Weird. John said, right, you keep telling yourself that. When Mike told me to move on, I responded with, look, I don't tell you which kids to stalk. Mind your own beeswax. Mike also says, keep being a miserable, hateful loser who rides the coattails of a show you haven't been a part of for a fucking decade. I don't give a fuck emoji. I love that when they tag me, my logo shows up there. It's fucking great. Chris is, he's white knighting me. I appreciate that. Oh my God, you're a pedo. Get lost, creeper. Cindy says he's a washed up has-been looking for attention. I went to Cindy's profile and she has this. I screenshotted it and posted it right under her comment where it says, be good to people. You will be remembered more for your kindness than any level of success you could possibly attain, which I thought was fun. EZ weighs in with, I'd just like to point out here that I don't have to lift one finger to get amazing promotion from this group. I'm over here in my fear bunker minding my own business, and all of this starts, and I did nothing to make it happen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bob and PA weighs in. Now I understand why listeners are called idiots. You just can't help yourselves and keep posting about EZs, thriving off your attention here. Even Wombat Pat, who's blind, could see it and tried explaining it to you guys, but you're just too dense. I added, it's remarkable. I'm forever indebted. Pat Phipps writes this, and I don't recognize the name. Pat wrote, why do fanboy listeners feel the need to always defend FBHW? You know they're not your friends, right? And Freeburn Hot Wings makes fun of people all the time, including kids. I've been listening to EZ lately. This interested me right here. And it's entertaining. I haven't heard him say one thing about FBHW that's not directly on point. Thank you, Pat. And to be fair, I'm not talking about FBHW here. I'm talking about these morons who attack me for no reason and think that they're doing the Lord's work, and all they're doing is helping me. I'm very excited that Pat weighed in. I'm hopeful that he's hearing these words that I'm saying right now. Because when you deal with people the way I do on the one-on-one level in a lot of cases, I get audience members one at a time. That matters to me in a big way. I'm not, I haven't lost to that. I've embraced that philosophy, the idea that Chris D suggested to me many, many moons ago about brick by brick. That's all you can do is build this show brick by brick. I can't even say it. Sound like I'm drunk. And I included that in my response. I wrote, truth, Pat. Thank you, and thanks for this page for tipping Pat off about your old pal EZ. Brick by brick. Wes says, man, I love Zane back in the day, but the fact that he's riding FBHW's cocks harder than a gay boy fest just to stay relevant is really sad. Chris says he's riding their cocks. Spends a small fraction of the week on FBHW stuff. It's way more entertaining than listening to Greg get mad at his coworkers because he's a fucking man-child. Steve writes, I never listened to Zane, not even on the FBHW show, as I moved here in 2020. But all of these hate threads have intrigued me. He's got to be doing something right for y'all to hate him so much and give him all this free publicity. Let me respond to that live in real time. Thanks so much. Check out my show. I'll be talking about your entry on this thread in particular, brick by brick. See, I don't get mad at people when they attack me. It's excellent. Jeremy wrote, why are we still talking about this? Let's move on with our lives. That's not Jeremy who's lost 120 pounds, another Jeremy. I'll respond to that later. I'm going to do that. I'm going to keep reading. Adam says, all have flaws. You can listen to both and come away with your own opinion. I listened to FBHW and Eric Zane to get both sides. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate that. Chris, a little bit more direct. He writes, hey, dumb dick, or hey, dumble dick, are you really this dense? Eric hasn't changed any. But you are a stupid fuck. Easy, thanks you for the attention. Keep it coming, moron. That's an aggressive response from Chris. It almost sounds like he's frustrated there. At the end of the day, I don't need any help promoting my show, but I get it, and I'm thankful for it. I mean, I'm doing just fine without it, but this is icing on the cake for me. The only people who have terrible things to say about me and what I do here are just people who are blinded by the brainwashing of the Free Beer and Hot Wing show, and they don't like that I call them out or make fun of them. That's why they say hateful things towards me. It's not because I do a bad show. I mean, you have to listen to me for 5 or 10 minutes and realize that this is anything but boring. I enjoy the subject matter. I enjoy the talking. He obviously knows what the fuck he's doing if he's able to talk for 2+ hours on a given day with a handful of notes and bits of material to talk about. So obviously it does work. I'm solvent, and I can pay for a goddamn bus that I don't use. So the only people who say negative things about me or say terrible things about me are people who are mad because I'm blasting that show on a regular basis when we do shows like Who Are These Free Beers? Which, by the way, Thursday is tomorrow, obviously, and we'll be doing show number 64 of Who Are These Free Beers? And, I cannot wait to unpack what I have for my clips. I don't know what Ben Glaze's clips will be like, but I know that I have a full breakdown of another moment that happens with a degree of regularity where the show gets naughty and downright dirty with these double entendre moments. And I can't say that we never did them in the past, but for some reason they just really lay flat the way they do it now. And like there was a moment in the most recent episode last week of Who Are These Free Beers where Ben Glaze played it, and they were focusing on a one of those devices, a weed eater or a weed whacker. And that led to all these double entendre moments where they're talking about whacking. And so they're saying one thing, but they're being naughty, so they might be meaning another. And they're like, you don't want to be caught whacking it alone. And there's like these little sniggers happening. And yes, I said the N-word with an S at the beginning of it. I should have probably said Snickers. That's kind of troublesome, frankly. Anyway, they're snickering away at using the word whacking. And that is captured again in my clips for Who Are These Free Beers. Another crazy-ass double entendre joke fest. And they laid down 8 in a row double entendres. These horrible jokes. And they were having such a goddamn good time doing it. And I cannot wait to catalog it for you. Jeremy says, easy, you're a vibe rater. Rate the vibe of the whacking segment. I think you're referencing something they did on Facebook because you sent that to me. I'm not much into rating vibes because I don't know what that means. I'm a 55-year-old man, so I'm not into rating vibes. You can tell a person who wants to be young is in charge of the social media over there. I don't rate vibes. I'm not one that gloms onto certain bits of lingo. That's why I don't say energy like our pal Free Beer. All right, so that concludes my little preview and all of the segment 18 page. I am so thankful for them. I just woke up and saw it. That's all I did. Saw it and weighed in on the commentary. Matt says, that show is dumb. Read more articles from Teen Girl and play more pointless games. Rebecca says, easy, you also value your listeners and encourage interaction. Thank you. That's a point of pride. We went a little long today on the show. I'm going to finish up with 4 amazing partners who support me, and I would like you to support them, and then I'll finish with the asshole of the day. If you have a suggestion for the asshole of the day, by all means, leave it in the chat. Okay. King's Room Barbershop just signed for another quarter of marketing on the show, and I appreciate them so much. If you need a haircut, guys or chicks who like short hair, you have 3 locations. Northland Drive, Caledonia, and at 821 36th Street. Their website is kingsroom.net. You can go there for schedules, exact locations, and whatnot. A haircut will set you back $21 plus tip. King's Room Barbershop, online at kingsroom.net. Okay, you go to your other place you go to. I'm asking you to try King's Room Barbershop. Guys or chicks who like short hair. Maybe you need some color. Maybe you need some beard care. The band Pop Evil gets their hair cut and styled at King's Room Barbershop, and you should too. And I do. Except for the last haircut, because it was too damn long, so I did it myself, and now I'm paying for it. Kingsroom.net. Adam Kasari is the realtor of choice on the show. 616-914-4061. I'm not saying you hire him sight unseen to help you buy a home or sell yours, but give him a shot. Talk to him, see what he has to say. Maybe he fits what you're trying to do when it comes to buying a home or selling yours. 616-914-4061. I just got confirmation that we are doing a paintball war at TC Paintball coming up on Saturday, September 6th. I'll be posting an event on Facebook. You can respond with an RSVP there. If you want to book an event for you or your group, maybe some workplace team building, the kids want to do something fun, neighborhood kids want to hang out, organize a paintball event at TC Paintball in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Find them online at tcpaintballgr.com. What I love the most about TC Paintball is you just walk in off the street. Hopefully you've got some clothes. You don't mind getting a little bit dirty with paint on them. An old pair of sneakers, that's all you need. If you want, you can upgrade with maybe some body armor. Some folks don't like taking some of those paintball shots. Or maybe it's a pair of coveralls if you want. It's up to you. You can upgrade your weaponry if you like. You can buy guns there. And how it works at TC is for your party. You fill out the waiver. You pay them one fee. You get the paint, you get the gun, you get the mask, you get the fun, you get the field time, all there for you. You run out of paint, buy some more. I like going heavy on the shots. You fill up your hopper, and then you just lay waste. Oh, my God. Just shoot the shit out of everything. Then go get more paint. Have fun at TC Paintball. Finally today, Frank Fuss is a terrific sponsor for folks who need health insurance. If your employer offers your insurance and you're like, God damn it, this is too expensive for me, because not everybody has the luxury of the boss paying for the insurance policy. They usually make you pay for some of it. If it's more than 9.75% of what you earn, you can get better insurance for less on healthcare.gov or Obamacare. It's known as several things. It's known as healthcare.gov. It's known as Obamacare. It's known as the marketplace. You're like, how the fuck do I do that? Well, you don't have to lift a finger other than reaching out to Frank Fuss. He'll do it all for you, and he won't charge you. How is that easy? He gets paid by insurance companies. Go to buyinsurancehere.com and fill out the form. Buyinsurancehere.com. Or if you are in between jobs and you need health care, or your boss doesn't offer health insurance, or you're self-employed. That's who benefits. Let's see. Asshole of the day, Cheetos and Faygo for being unhealthy. Bob says people upset that they won't be able to get Cheetos and Faygo on Snap. Stevie says, wait, what? I went to lunch and came back and you're still on? Yeah, we kind of like on a roll today. Extending the show, I guess. My prostate gland gets a nomination. Hamburger Helper gets a nomination. In a lot of ways, this is the asshole of the day and not the asshole of the day. Segment 18 is asshole of the day because they pick on your old pal EZ, but they're also the hero of the day because they pick on your old pal EZ. Thank you for the kind words today. I appreciate the comments saying, hey, this was such a fun show. Thank you. I appreciate that. I try to make them all like this. Hopefully they are, at least for some portion of them. I try to make every single show as enjoyable as the previous one. Thank you for being here to support it. And that's it. I'll be on Patreon a little later on. patreon.com/Eric Zane. If you really want to help, sign up for my Patreon. And you can sign up for 7 days free. I offer that to you. 7 days free on Patreon at patreon.com/Eric Zane. Until next time, folks, have a good one, and bye-bye.